remember asking David once, "Do the voices ever go away?" And he says, "No, you just don't listen to them anymore." I was driving back from Boston, and all of a sudden, I pulled the car off to the side of the road, and I turned the engine off, and I said out loud, "Everybody out. Only alcoholics get what I said."
I've heard it through the grapevine. Welcome. It's the AA Grapevine half-hour variety hour, featuring the collected voices of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm Don, an alcoholic in Greensboro, North Carolina.
And I am Olis, an alcoholic in beautiful downtown Oakland, California.
Beautiful downtown Oakland.
Beautiful.
I've been there. It is beautiful.
It really is.
Olis, did you survive the holidays?
I absolutely survived the holidays. It's amazing to me every year that I end up in the new year. I'm like, oh my God, I made it. It can be hectic. It can be hectic. It starts, there's Halloween, then there's Thanksgiving, then there's Christmas, then there's, But I also miss the hectic nature of the holiday as an active member of Alcoholics Anonymous. There are marathon meetings. My home group did a Thanksgiving feast. It just, the kind of fellowship, not just being invited into Alcoholics Anonymous, but this real sense of belonging. That, I bought cookies and you bought eggnog and somebody bought a turkey. And it's incredible. Whether you do it online or in person, this is the season where we're relaxing because we're in a new year, but we also get to reflect back on all of the ways that we are really, really beautifully blessed. The fellowship we crave. Did you do any marathon meetings?
Yes, we have marathon meetings here in Greensboro.
There's a fellowship near me called the In-Between Fellowship, and they do a marathon every year for the holidays, right? There's one for Christmas, and it runs into the new year. But also online, there's a group out of Southern California, 9604, and they do a marathon for every holiday. Just that you can, in the comfort of your home, be a part of a fellowship.
Well, here's the thing. Going to meetings during the holidays, if you're sober, people who are new, it's a difficult time. And it's also a time where new people are coming into AA. And now, particularly the 1st of January, people are coming in. I know quite a few people that have. I'm going to quit after the holidays. That was what I always said. I'm going to quit after the holidays. Don't worry. And I did, but it was May 30th.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Many of us have tried to stop at the top of the year. It's like a New Year's resolution. But both you and I have May sober dates. It's the slow quit. It's not the quitting, it's the stop.
But the thing is, going to meetings, if you are sober, more meetings than you normally go to is 12-step work. That's where we are there available to offer a hand of AA. We have a way to quit drinking. If you want to do it, come along with us.
Absolutely. And the thing I like to say, and I say it all the time, welcome to your new life. You never have to drink again, and you never have to feel that bad again.
Woohoo! It's a new month.
It's a new year, Don.
And the new grapevines are here. The new grapevines are here. Woo-hoo! I'm picking up good vibrations. I'm feeling those excitations.
If I have not said it, Happy New Year to you and to all.
Oh, Happy New Year, Olis. Happy New Year to everyone who's listening.
Yeah, January is a time that people really do rethink their lives, right?
Yeah.
What do I want my life to be? And for a lot of people, January is a good time to quit drinking.
This is the time of year that the rooms tend to get a lot more people coming into AA for the very first time.
I love that our January issue is about how our new friends in early sobriety who want to stay quit really are doing that. What I think is even more important is that even for people who don't know yet whether or not they're one of us, we welcome you. I got here and I didn't know if I was going to stay. And I've been here 38 years. So whatever you think in this moment, welcome to your new life. You know, it's not quitting. Like I quit 1,000 times. It's about staying stopped.
When someone is hurting and walks through the doors of AA for the first time, they're often not sure what to do.
Yeah.
Luckily, AA has a whole world of tools for new members to help them feel welcome and not pick up that first drink. There's so much hope to be found here in the rooms. This month, we feature helpful stories for those seeking help by members who have been there.
In the story, Finally Surrendered, a woman has a tough time stopping, but with the help of the rooms, she makes it.
In Going Sane, a newcomer thought the good times were now over. Boy, did she get a big surprise. This AA business is driving me sane.
It was the joy in the rooms that got her to stay, writes one member in It Was the Laughter.
And today's guest is the author of A Well-Made Bed. He writes that when new, he learned a few tricks to feel better and gain some self-esteem along the way.
Yes, today's guest is Gregory C. in beautiful Lawrenceville, New Jersey. His story is on page 16 in the January 2026 issue of the Grapevine.
He writes, "Do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it." I mean, you wouldn't think that this is something that you got to learn, but I did.
When I got here, I didn't understand the connection between that and not drinking. Like, what's that? I have real problems. Like, what are you talking about?
How does making my bed going to help me stay sober?
How does keeping my commitment to make coffee have anything to do with the quality of my life? And then you start listening to people or working with people, and they ask you the ever important question: how do I build self-esteem? Right? I do esteemable acts. I keep my word. I'm really excited to talk to Gregory.
But first, the news. We're looking for stories about sponsorship. Share your experiences of sponsoring others or of being sponsored. What are some of the things you learned? What things do you now pass on? Share your story at aagrapevine.org/share. Stories are due by February 1st, 2026.
We want to hear from you.
What are the Grapevine's most popular books? Emotional Sobriety 1 and 2. Both are filled with experiences by sober AA members, many with long-term sobriety, about the positive transformations we can achieve by practicing the principles of the program in all aspects of our lives. The stories show how the rewards are serenity, emotional balance, and an increased joy for living. Visit aagrapevine.org/books.
My name is Greg, and I'm an alcoholic. My sobriety date is May 27th, 2002. I have a sponsor whose name is Anthony V, and I have a home group, which is the Princeton Alternative Group in Princeton, New Jersey, and we meet on Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock a.m.
It's alternative to what?
Well, I could tell you a quick story about the name of the group. And it was started by a municipal judge in Princeton about 60 years ago.
Wow.
And he was not an alcoholic, but he was getting a lot of cases brought to him that had to do with alcohol, whether it was driving or behavior in any way. And for some reason, he decided to call AA down in Trenton and ask them about Alcoholics Anonymous. So they sent somebody over and they talked to him. And he said, wow, he said, that sounds pretty good. So what he did was, in his court, would say to people that you could go to jail for 30 days, or as an alternative, you could go to an AA meeting.
That's great.
When we have our anniversaries, he'll come every couple of years still to the anniversary. He's not an alcoholic, so he'll come, he'll say a few words, and he'll leave.
Wow.
Yep.
I love this story.
So that was an alternative.
It's an alternative to jail.
Well, it's an alternative to jail. Okay. What was the pressure on you, Greg, that you decided, I can't take this. I need to go try something different. I'm going to try AA.
Well, I guess one thing after another, it was like I was losing everything. It was like the boat was taking on more water than I could throw off the boat. And in the end, I felt like an old boxer. I could see a punch coming, but I couldn't get out of the way of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just one thing after another. And I have a wonderful family that I came from. There was pretty much no alcohol involved in the entire family. And that goes all the way with my grandparents and aunts and uncles and the whole extended family. But I started and I reached the point where I couldn't stop. And this was in 2002, about 2 months before I actually got sober. And I said, I can't stop. I just can't stop. I don't know what to do. And I went on the internet because I'm smart. And I started looking up AA. And I just figured I'd read a couple of paragraphs and, bingo, you got it all. Yeah. The whole thing. Okay. Say this word 3 times and you'll never drink or not drink too much,
Well, did you find AA or did you find a bunch of AAA treatment centers?
Well, you always start off with American Airlines, and then after American Airlines, there's AAA. So I got the flight, I got the car, I'm still having trouble. So what I did, I called the hotline, and I said, and again, I thought they were going to just say, well, just read this, do that, or whatever. Yeah. And I said, but wait a minute, what if these people ask me questions? Because I went through the site pretty extensively and I saw the 12 steps. So I said, well, they might ask me questions. So I made sure on my computer, I had all 12 steps up just in case they ask me, what's step 4?
Okay, you're not going to get stumped, huh?
You're not going to get me.
We're going to quiz you in.
So they had, so it was a woman who answered the hotline. She said, I'm going to have somebody call you. And somebody called me, and very nice guy. His name was Tommy C. And Tommy called me up, and we talked a little bit. And he said, well, why don't you go to a meeting? I said, well, why don't you tell me more about this program? And he said, well, I could tell you at a meeting. I said, why don't you tell me more about this program? And he said, well, I'll give you a call another day. So I went back to drinking, but then he called me like 3 days later. He's in a good mood. Okay. And he said,
I love this.
I just called to check up on you. How are you making out? And I said, oh, I'm doing all right. You still drinking? You have any questions, anything like that? And I said, no. He said, well, I'll get back to you again. Okay. I hope you have a nice day. And he called me a few days later and he said, how you doing? And I said, I'm okay. And he says, excuse me, I can't hear you real well. I'm at my daughter's soccer game. And I'm saying, what's he doing outside, having fun? All of a sudden it just dawned on me. Wait a minute, this guy's living a normal life.
Whole life out in the world.
I got off the phone. Yeah, I got off the phone and I thought about it. And then I called him. And that started it. And I remember, it's over 23 years later, I could still get emotional over it when I think about it. I remember it was Memorial Day weekend in 2002. I called him up on Friday afternoon to go to a meeting that weekend. I said, I just can't go through the whole weekend.
That was your first?
Yeah.
That was my first, was Memorial Day weekend.
Okay. Well, this was, so I spent the whole weekend not going to a meeting, but I promised I'd go to the meeting with him on Monday at noon. So it was 5 minutes to 10 on May 27th in the morning. And I'm sitting there in the basement of my house, because you know how you all live in the basement of your house with as much vodka as you can get for $10. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, the liquor store opens in 5 minutes. I can go over there and get something just in case this AA thing doesn't work out. And just then the phone rings and it's him. And he said to me, "Are you going?" And I just, like, every voice in my head stopped and said, "Yes."
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible?
I went, and it was the first time I ever met him face to face. And he put his hand on my shoulder and he said, "You're going to feel so good
I
when you come out."
want to appreciate the woman that answered the phone on the hotline.
Hmm.
And I want to, at the top of the year, invite everybody in the sound of our voice to call your local intergroup and see whether or not there are open slots for you to be the person that answers the phone. But I also want to send love out to Tommy C., man. Thank you, Tommy, for being a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. I love that he called and he was like, "How you doing?"
Yeah.
How you doing? Because what we know is that you're going to drink yourself into misery. And my job is to be there when you're miserable to offer you an alternative.
Well, you said you listen to him and he's like out having a good time and everything. He's also like taking time out of his good time to call up this guy he doesn't know whatsoever.
That's
Boy,
right.
oh boy, huh? That was something. And I went to that first meeting, and I actually met the man who's become my sponsor. His name was David E. And he was my sponsor for about 20 years until he passed away in his mid-90s. And anything that you could say might be wisdom from me started with him.
Yeah. What attracted you to him?
Well, probably the same thing a lot of other guys would say that he sponsored too. He was like Clint Eastwood. He was just cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And what I learned later was, and I learned pretty much that first week, the secret of being cool is to pause before you say anything. And just by doing that, I got out of so much trouble because I learned that, I have an alcoholic mind that says, "You're attacking me, and I want to tell you either how smart I am or how dumb you are before I think about it."
Yeah.
And I can't believe how, when you pause 1 or 2 seconds, how every thought in your head and what comes out of your mouth is totally different.
Yes. We often say God is in the pause
And there it is.
because it's time. Like if I can just be present in the moment.
Yeah.
So was this the guy who said you had to make your bed?
That's him. Okay. As a matter of fact, the article, I was just missing him. And I said, I got to do something. And
It's a tribute.
he assumed that you're not going to drink. Okay. He said, "You understand it's the alcohol, right?" Yeah. And he would say that at meetings all the time.
You understand it's the alcohol,
Yeah.
right?
So, getting up out of bed in the morning, the first thing is you maybe get some self-esteem going if you make that bed right. And that's one of the things we told people all the time. And we did a meeting at a rehab center, my friend Larry and I and a couple other folks, for about 20 years until the pandemic came by. And that's one of the things that we told everybody at the rehab center. Tomorrow morning when you get up, make your bed. And then we would say later on in the meeting that you'll see the people who are serious about getting in recovery, check their bed out tomorrow morning.
How is that going to help you stay sober? How does that help?
Well, you make your bed, you do a good job of it, and you feel good about yourself. You did something to get your day started. And you get out of you come out of the box in a good mood. And you've done something. And even while you're getting ready to go to work or whatever you're going to do, that bed's made. And, no matter how bad your day is, at the end of the day, you can come home and you got kicked from one curve to the other, and you look at it and you say, "I did one thing right today."
Yep. We underestimate the power of just doing the right thing. Just saying to people, "Are you serious?" And there's this group online that I met online during the pandemic. Spiritual Gangsters is the name of the group. And they, in their intro to their meeting, they say, These are not the steps we read and the steps we talked about. These are the steps we took.
Yeah.
And so at a rehab, when you say, hey, you'll know who's serious because you can see who made their bed.
Yeah.
I love that. It's the simple things.
It's the action.
Into action.
David used to say, it's into action, not into thinking.
Right. Hidden into Wives, a not frequently read chapter in Alcoholics Anonymous that I love. There's this beautiful description of drinkers. And the more together the drinker is, the more they've still like got a little management of life going, the worse the prospects are, they tell the wife.
That's right.
But the drunk who has burnt their life, who's really broken, it's beautiful.
I remember the first thing that I read in the big book that made sense to me, and it was on page 423. And it says, the main difference between an alcoholic and a non-alcoholic is a non-alcoholic sets their behavior to match their goals. An alcoholic sets their goals to match their behavior.
I love that.
And that hit me between the eyes.
You are talking about this window of opportunity story in the book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and the sentence you're talking about is in a paragraph that I have circled in my big book. As I look back on that period, I realize how true it is that one of the primary differences between the alcoholic and the non-alcoholic is that the alcoholic changes their behavior to meet their goals, and the alcoholic changes their goals to meet their behavior. What a powerful sentence.
I was taught by some really fine parents growing up, and some really fine people. And for me to be a successful alcoholic, I had to get rid of all of that.
That's right. You have to trash all those values, all
not
those
even knowing they were going away. And then when I got sober, every once in a while I say, oh my goodness, I used to be like that. Okay, oh my goodness, that used to be important, and now it is again. But you get that good feeling.
Yeah.
And we were just interrupted with alcohol.
Yeah. I would say that the correlation between making my bed and having a good life, which seems ridiculous to people who don't know this way of life, is a lot like the correlation between having the relationships and the connections that I crave and having decent behavior. Like I've got to be a certain way. Like I've got to be kind and thoughtful and generous of spirit and patient and pause in order to have this network of people around me that I want to be around. The fellowship I crave. It's my behavior that creates that.
The tornado.
The tornado. Ma, ain't it grand?
Greg, this has been great. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed this, and I'm so happy to meet you folks, and I really do thank you for everything.
Yeah, thanks for riding the grapevine.
Yeah, we appreciate the tribute. We appreciate you sending it in, and we appreciate you showing up. In May 2026, be the best year ever.
Thank you. The same for everybody.
Hi, I'm Terry. I'm an alcoholic from Pleasanton, California. I subscribe to the Grapevine because it's the right thing to do. It allows me to carry the message to the alcoholic that still suffers. Not to mention, I love all the stories, and of course, I subscribed to it for years, but they were just stacked up at home. Then COVID hit. I started reading all those grapevines. And now the ones I accumulate, then I make sure that they get carried on to somebody else. I send them to the jails. I bring them to meetings and just leave them because it's important. And I also love the fact that we now have the app and I can do searches for past articles, but I still continue to subscribe to the hard copy and the online version because I want to be able to carry the message like we're supposed to.
Olis, a lot of friends of mine have asked, say, I don't want to buy a subscription to the Grapevine, but I'd love to contribute to the Grapevine. And I realized, well, you can certainly do that. All you have to do is the Carry the Message Project. You go to aagrapevine.org and click the Carry the Message button, and you can either give a subscription, which will be distributed to people anonymously, or you can get a gift certificate and print it out, and then you can give that subscription to someone else who wants one.
You know, while we do not charge to enjoy the podcast, and we love that you join us, we do have expenses. And if this adds value to your life, we invite you to support us in adding value to other people's lives.
$3 a month? Come on.
Since the earliest days of Alcoholics Anonymous, many of us have wrestled with what it means to surrender to a higher power. Some of us came in with a clear idea of God, while others leaned towards not God or something we couldn't yet name. That tension has been part of our shared experience from the very beginning. For an upcoming show, we want to explore how members have come to terms with this idea while working the steps. We'd love to hear about your own experience, how you understood surrender early on, how you worked with the idea of a higher power, and how your thinking may have changed over time. Please call 212-870-3418 and leave a message, or write to podcast@aagrapevine.org and leave your contact information. Your experience may be used on the show.
I'm at the very wit's end.
Two drunks are sharing a bottle, sitting on the beach, looking up into the darkened sky.
Have you ever seen a more beautiful sunset?
You're drunk. That's the sunrise.
You're drunk. That's the sunset.
Sunrise.
Sunset.
Sunrise.
Sunset.
Hey, fellas, excuse me. May I join you?
Hi.
Sure, but you have to settle an argument. Is that the sunrise or the sunset?
Why are you asking me? I'm not from around here.
It's really not that funny. Thanks for joining us. The AA Grapevine Half-Hour Variety Hour is posted every Monday and is produced by AA Grapevine, Inc. We don't speak for AA as a whole. We share the experience, strength, and hope of members to help others recover from alcoholism. All things Grapevine are available at aagrapevine.org, including our app and how to get in touch with us. Find us on Instagram and YouTube. If you want to know more about AA, visit aa.org or search online for Alcoholics Anonymous and your city.